Hello and welcome back to Fast Feminist Recaps. This is episode 3, and we are talking about the 2-night Bachelorette extravaganza. We watched 4 hours of Chad this week, you guys. Can you handle it? Because I can't. So let's start with night 1. The first date of the episode is Chase. He gets a one-on-one, and I didn't think there was a more awkward date scenario than the serenading, you know, one-on-one. There's like a mini concert. Anyway, we've talked about how I hate those. But it turns out there is something more awkward. Yoga with someone you just met. Followed by a private one-on-one serenade concert situation. So, worst date of my life. I wasn't even on it. But they seemed to have a good time, so whatever. The group date in that episode was a one-woman show, stand-up comedy thing about embarrassing sex stories. And Evan does his bit on, you know, Chad. And at the end of that, Evan's shirt gets ripped by Chad. Evan's gonna die. Like, Evan's gonna get snapped in half. And you know what? The only thing worse than a guy who's, like, mean and awful is a guy who purposely goes out of his way to instigate and cause issues with someone like that. So that's why I don't like Evan. James Taylor gets the dance date, and I gotta say, the first time I saw this guy, I was like, he's putting it on. He's doing it for the cameras. There's no way he's this nice. But I started to buy it by the end of the date. He seems like a genuinely nice person, so I'll give him credit for that. I was distracted by Chad and his performance artist friend, Daniel. I feel like Daniel's also not a real person. First, with the Hitler thing, Daniel turns to Chad and says, "Hey, let's pretend you're Hitler." And Chad says, "Let's not pretend I'm Hitler," which, to his credit, although he's, you know, flawed in many ways, is the correct answer when someone says, "Let's pretend you're Hitler." And then with Chad talking to Daniel, eating a potato like it's an apple. And that was night 1. It was just Chad getting worse and worse and worse and putting stranger things in his mouth. Which brings us to episode 2 of the Chad show this week. So Chad gets in trouble. He does a little bit of a montage of sitting and picking grass, you know, kicking pool floaties, just generally having a tantrum. And then Derek calls him out on his misogynistic comments, which is really cool because I don't know if anyone has ever said the word misogynistic in Bachelorette history. So it's like becoming a thing that is addressed, which is really cool. The rose ceremony happens and she keeps Chad, and everyone is so angry about it. But they go to Pennsylvania anyway, and she has a one-on-one date with Ghost. They go on a very short dog sled ride and then jump in a hot tub that is way too hot because it is wood burning. This is why we have technology, people, so that we don't have to guess temperature by throwing wood on a fire and just like hoping it's like not gonna burn us alive. My favorite part of the group date, which was a football date, James Taylor got like a cut above his eye and he comes out with a bandage. "I don't want stitches. I don't need stitches. I want to keep going on this date." And like, you can't. His entire face is covered like he's, you know, the invisible man, but he's gonna play football somehow. Obviously, Jordan gets the rose, and we are led into Chad and Alex's 2-on-1 date. And you know the rules of a 2-on-1. 2 guys go in and 1 guy exits. And they up the stakes this time by dropping them off in the middle of the woods, each with an axe. Very Hunger Games. I like it. Everybody confronts everybody, and then Chad and Alex sit down and have a conversation that is straight out of a Dr. Seuss book. Here are some quotes. "Life ain't all blueberries and paper airplanes, you know what I mean?" Chad. "I don't like milk," says Alex. "You should. Milk's delicious," says Chad. And finally, Alex says hay's in the barn, and as if it's the logical response to this particular call, Chad says pigs are in the castle. Is that a farm thing that I don't know about, or is that like macho man nonsense? Obviously Chad goes home because those are some concerning accusations, but we do get a nice ending shot of him whistling in the woods in the dark, presumably walking to the house where the guys are staying to whistle at them. I mean, so here are my concerns. First of all, I don't think this is the last we've seen of Chad. I think there is some more Chad drama brewing. My biggest concern is that the show cast Chad knowing that he perhaps had a violent past or some sort of record of some description, purposely to, you know, cause drama and sort of kick up some dust this season. And this is my hypothesis because in the teaser for the next few episodes, JoJo says you have a reason to be concerned, like in tears to the guys. Is it good for us to be talking about this in this particular context, or is it harmful, you know? I don't know. But I do know that life ain't all blueberries and paper airplanes, you know what I mean? If you like this video, click subscribe. I make a video like this every week, and I make a sketch every Friday. You can also find me on social media down below, and there's another video in this series in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen if you want to watch another one right now. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!